So this is actually the second time I've tried to record this episode of Blue Fire Talks. So we're trying something completely new. We are trying to get face video on it on Blue Fire Talks. We really need this. So yeah, absolutely. So in this season of quarantine, it is so important that we have face-to-face interaction with people. I've heard it said it's not social distancing, it's physical distancing. So while we cannot physically be in the same room together, the fact that we can talk and have conversation and be social, it's so important. So this is episode 3 of Blue Fire Talks. I just want to bring my good friend, Richie Ray Pena.
What's up?
On.
What up? What up?
Hey man, I'm so glad you're here. So again, you're hearing this for the first time of this episode, but this is actually the second time we've tried this. We've been trying some different setups. To start out, I tried to use my really good, supposedly professional camera to get this recording. Didn't work. So I'm defaulting to the webcam on my laptop, which is okay. But
all good.
But it's not the best, but it does work. Richie's right. So we're going to get started. Before we dive into our main topic for today, I just want to have some convo with you, Richie, just to kind of get things started. So
absolutely, man.
I know that we haven't been having as much fast food now, right? You've been not
probably
eating out as much.
If you are having some fast food.
Right.
I've been home all day, so yeah, I've been home all day, man.
So speaking of fast food, I'm gonna get you some fast food related questions. So
okay,
do you prefer the Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich or the KFC chicken sandwich?
Well, thank God I've had the Popeyes one.
Yeah, Popeyes. My bad. Thank you for correcting.
Sorry, what'd you say?
I said KFC, but we can go Popeyes.
The Popeyes, yeah. I don't know, man. The thing is that the Popeyes is good as much of a bigger sandwich it was, and as crunchy it was because it was fried. It's just like too heavy. When I eat it, I just get slumped. It's just like it was great, but it's like a really heavy meal. And obviously, with my been changing up my diet as I get older.
Yeah,
trying to eat cleaner. Not that Chick-fil-A is any cleaner, but I will say Chick-fil-A just sits in your stomach better. So let's just put it that way. So I got to give it to Chick-fil-A, man. They're legends, and they're closed on Sundays and still beat out these businesses. So Chick-fil-A all the way. My honey mustard sauce, add some pepper jack cheese on there with some bacon. Take out the pickles. Sometimes I'll have it depending on how I feel. Have the fries on the side, and you got to holler at the mac and cheese too. Once you put that mac and cheese in there, it's over.
I agree. So you actually put the mac and cheese inside the sandwich? Crunch it down.
You know what? I haven't done that, but you can. I like to separate it because I think the mac and cheese is a powerful flavor, so it might take it away. But sounds like an amazing idea, so I have to try it.
Maybe you should. So,
maybe even today, right?
So funny story. I actually want to get healthier. I love food. I'm a cook.
Of course.
Man.
Brought to you by Lay's again.
Absolutely. Well, speaking of sponsors, I'm actually doing Slim Fast right now. So my meals are basically 2 of these a day and then one other 500 calorie meal. And man, I've been losing weight. I'm not even sure if this is healthy, but I lost 4 pounds yesterday. So
wow. Yeah, it's probably not. I'm just kidding. I don't know.
Of course, I've been a bigger guy, so maybe you just lose a lot of weight to start out.
A good way to lose weight is really eating from home and not eating anything fried from home.
Right.
So I always tell people the 3 F's that you don't do, the 3 F words, and it's fried, fast, and fuzz.
That's so
fizz.
Good. Yeah.
Fizz for soda. Like stay away from fried food and stay away from fast food. And I think if you could do those 3 things, you'll see a change in your body. I wouldn't say not to go to the gym, but you wouldn't need to go running or even go to the gym. And if you could start off with those 3, like you'll get some results. So just imagine adding the gym on there.
Yeah.
Or some running or exercising. Those that's a really good way to start. And eating from home is you can lose a lot of weight not even going to the gym just by slowly changing what you eat.
Yeah. Well, even if you can't go to the gym, doing push-ups and sit-ups and
absolutely
cardio,
taking a run outside,
like jumping jacks or running and stuff like that. That's really good. Squat jumps are pretty good too. You ever done burpees before?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
They're tough.
I hate those. I don't really do those honestly, but those are pretty intense. So doing stuff like that's really good. I know a lot of people.
Jump roping is great.
Gyms are closed, but you could still get active. And really, part of my motivation to doing that is, we're gone from church right now. We can't actually meet in person for the most part. But like I believe I said it earlier on this one, but it's not social distancing, it's physical distancing. But I just, when I get back and I go to the college and career ministry at my church, shout out to The Voice, or when I go to Sunday mornings or Wednesday nights, I wanna look different. So I want people to be like, yo, there's skinny Dustin over there. What happened to him? So, it's about being different. And, what I wanted to talk to you about and have conversation with you about in this podcast today, episode 3, Blue Fire Talks. Welcome in. I'm glad for the audience that's here. I'm glad you took the time out of your busy schedule to be a part of this conversation with us.
Yeah, it's so busy,
Yeah, it's super busy. And if you want to...
No, I'm glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
It's about time, though. I thought it'd be the first episode, but it's all good.
Yeah, man, you're always welcome, bro. You're
Thank
always
you, man.
welcome.
Appreciate you having me here.
So much better than me talking to myself, right? Who wants
it's kind of weird, but...
It's kind of weird. You kind of... If you ever listen to the radio, you're like, man, how do these guys do it? They're just in a room by themselves. Maybe they have this glass screen and there's a producer in the other room, but, it's pretty crazy. Anyway, so things are different now. Richie, you are a person who does so much. Let's actually throw your slide up because you're just that amazing. Let's see if I can. There you are. So you are a really amazing person. You can't even see the screen that I have up here, but I have your professional Calvin Klein fashionista photo with the yellow background. It's pretty cool.
That's funny.
But man, you're a person that does so much, and I had to boil down your what you do into a little tagline. And so I call you an entrepreneur and a creative. You're literally one of the most creative people I know. Ever since I was in high school, you've been such an inspiration to me. A lot of who I am as a creative, as a minister of the gospel, I could trace it back to you. And I really don't take the opportunity I have to have a conversation with you and to be a friend with you lightly. I really don't. You are somebody who has really made an impact on people. First and foremost, there's 15, 20, 30 people that if I go up to right now, they would tell me that you are the number one person in their life that have had an impact on them. And maybe that number has gone up. Maybe it's 50 to 60 to 70 at this point. But man, you got your start doing Christian hip hop, and I remember the first time I had an interaction with you. It was at Faith Assembly of God. I did a short sermon on the main stage. At that point in time, I was in the 10th grade, and that was the most amazing opportunity of my life. And that was a crazy opportunity too, because right in the middle of my message, some autistic kid started getting up and yelling at me during the sermon. So I didn't know what to think. At the time, I thought the guy was just like demonic or something. So that was pretty weird.
That's pretty funny too.
I know, it's crazy. And I was only in 10th grade. I wasn't this polished professional speaker. I literally just did speeches and then decided to do a speech for God. And then I did it for fine arts, and the message happened. This was actually This was in 11th grade, actually. The message happened to win. So, 10th grade. My bad, 10th grade. It happened to get second place in the district. Didn't win, got second place, and they put me on stage. So I was nervous as heck. It was awful. Went up on that stage, and it was terrible. But before I went, this is the important part of the story. You, Eric Menguel, and this girl. Do you remember her name? It's like Christina, right?
Yeah.
Something like that. You three, you performed, and it was amazing, phenomenal. I was on stage. I'm like, man, I can't go on stage after that. Man, that was great. That was the first interaction we had, and man, you were crazy talented, and man, you were rocking your little suit vest is pretty funny. You had really short hair back then. You had no facial hair, but man, you were talented. It's crazy.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Then fast forward.
I know what night you're talking about.
Yeah.
I was actually a senior that year.
You were. Then the next year, you were you actually did something that in the Assembly of God world we call human video. And for those of you that don't know what that is, it's pretty funny, pretty weird. All the Baptists are looking at us being like, man, y'all are crazy. Why y'all getting that close? You know? It's like a dance and a drama and a pantomime at the same time. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
And if you want to know what that is, just go to my channel, and after this podcast is done, I probably have 5 or 6 human videos that I've recorded over the years, including one that you, Richie, had the opportunity to choreograph.
Yeah.
And I want you to talk about that experience real quick, because really, before getting to that, and I want to say something real quick before I get into that. You had led a human video. You're right after graduating, and I had the opportunity to be in that one, and it was called Heroes of Faith. It was really great. I want to hear you speak about that really quickly. But then for the time being, your final human video that you've led, extremely wicked, shockingly evil, and vile. Tell me a little bit about those two and your experience with that, and then we'll dive into the main topic of this cast. So tell me about it.
Heroes of Faith was inspired by Hebrews 11.
Yeah.
And I finished senior year. I was making music and rapping, and I performed for Fine Arts as a participant. And then after being in human video, I saw how human video touched people.
Right.
So I don't dance. I don't sing. I don't choreograph anything. I'm not in dramas. I don't act. So I don't sing, act, or dance, right? Yeah. And you kind of you don't need to have those skills to be a human video choreographer, but they help. And I didn't have any of that.
Yeah.
When I first saw a human video, I thought it was terrible. I was like, this is for weirdos. This is not for me. You know what I'm saying? But, being with David Slayton, right? That was a big impact on me. And
so tell us about David Slayton. Tell us about him.
Yeah, David Slayton is my choreographer. He was the leader of my human videos when I was a senior. And I was with him for 1 year. And he made so much impact in that 1 year because he was he just came off of winning nationals.
That he won
first
2010.
Right? And then the next year I got, that same year I got saved, and I ended up joining this human video the next year. And so, I did that human video with him, and it changed my life. And I said, I want to do, I don't care for the music choice. I don't care for the dancing, singing, the choreography, or the acting. I just want to touch people's hearts. It's literally my only. There was no reason for this little rapper boy from the hood that used to sell drugs and be involved in street violence to come into a church, and after less than 365 days, he's compelled to do a human video. It just doesn't happen.
Right.
And that's the power of Jesus and God's love, and how much I wanted to touch people with his love. Human video create an opportunity for that. And I kind of let go of rap. I didn't really care to rap too much. I did, but I wanted to explore this passion, and I did Heroes of Faith. And it was really rough because I didn't know what I was doing. I had a lot of kids on human video that were just young and immature, and that's fine. That's their kids, that's comes with the package.
Yeah.
And so I got stepped on a lot, and I let that happen as a leader because I didn't know what I was doing. But I ended up continuing that for about 5 more years. And then throughout the years, I started to kind of build a movement with an all girls group and all boys group.
Yeah.
And we were known as the Heroes, and we did a great run. And for those that are listening that maybe do human video or in any competition, it's a competition. This competition didn't give me a record deal. It didn't sign me to a human video deal. I got no money from it. But the one thing I did do is I left the impact on people's lives. And so did everybody else in those groups. And there's groups out there that were better than mine. But I know for one thing for sure, I'm not speaking out of the groups, but I'll speak for mine. Whether we got first, second, third, 10th, 100th place, it didn't matter. When we hit that stage, we made an impact. And so, I ended up quitting after six years, and my brother took over. And then my brother had to leave to Jacksonville to be a pastor. So he called me and asked me if I could take over his group, which I was like, no way, never happening. I've already been retired 2 years. I don't want to do it. But it's my little brother asking me this favor. And so I did it. Long story short, I had an idea for it. We had about 3 months to change the whole video. Probably the first time in fine arts history that's ever happened. Where
so you guys had competed at districts with Lewis's human video, Lewis Pena, youth pastor at Ocean Way, doing an amazing job there. So he left Faith Assembly of God, Orlando, Florida, to
pastor in Jacksonville
to go to Ocean Way, and so this is mid stride. So
this is like an.
So they do pretty good at districts. They get like 4th or 5th place, right?
Out of 100.
So they're a pretty good group, and then you come in, and not only do you come in to make the human video better, but you come in and then you completely change that up. So what's the mood of the team when, it's a I guess a Saturday or whatever, a weekday in June 2019, you come in, you're like, hey, we're going to change this thing up. Brand new concept. What's the mood in the room? What's going on?
Well, when you're inspired as an artist, when you know something's good, you just know it's good, right?
Yeah.
And when I first thought of the idea, I was obsessed, and I was like, okay, I didn't care if we won or lost. I did not care. I just knew that this was a powerful story. I knew I had a really creative idea, and I just wanted people to enjoy my new idea. If I was going to take over my brother, then I wanted to have fun doing it. I didn't care if we won or lost. I didn't care about none of that. I had no time. We had 3 months. I want to change the whole thing. Not much you can expect. And so I said, I just want to have fun. I want to have a good time. And I was so invested in the dream that when I showed the students, they went crazy. Like I showed them the mix. I told them the idea, what I wanted. I showed them the voiceover when Saul kills the Christians, and they went sporadic, man. They started jumping around. They started grabbing me, pushing me. They said, play the music back. I want to, tell me the choreo now. They started doing the choreo. They started acting like Christians that were hiding. And it was amazing. It was an amazing feeling. And I knew in that moment, I kind of played myself because I was originally going to do it for Capital. But the moment I showed the high school kids and the moment that they bought into the idea and bought into the picture, I mean, from that day forward, they harassed me until we changed it.
Wow. Man.
Yeah.
And I remember having conversation with you in the early stages, and I believe you actually sent me a quick video, and I'm like, yo, this is probably a minute and a half of the beginning, and it was super raw, kind of busted, but I'm like, man, this could do really well. And fast forward to early August 2019, and you performed all 3 rounds. Actually, I remember being on the bus with you the night before final callbacks, and you found out that you had made it to the 3rd rounds. Tell me about that.
So that's a great memory because it was actually with you. You remember, you were actually there, and you were actually the reason. You're actually the one that pulled up the top 10 because you went on Twitter. While we were waiting for it on the website, it was on Twitter. And so, you were there, but personally for me and my emotions, I remember waiting for the top 10, and I told myself, this human video is really great. And as the rounds kept going on, I told myself it kept going up in the ranks. So I was like, it's going to be a top 10. And then we would go to second rounds. And I'm like, it's going to be probably placed higher than 10 and then or lower than 10, like, in the ranges of like 1 through 8. And then third rounds happened. I was like, no, this is, we could get top 5. And so I remember telling myself, but the game changer for third rounds is if we go last. And I told myself, if we go last, we'll win. I told myself that. I was like, give us last so we have an opportunity to get top 3 and a big chance to win.
Yeah.
And I was like, but things never play life never really plays out for you like that. Like, it really doesn't. And you can hope and wish for a lot of things and pray for things. And not that God's not listening or not there, but, you just those things just don't happen. And I remember finally, after 30 minutes of refreshing on the bus, refreshing the paper over and over again, you found it on Twitter. And when that list came out and it said Extremely Wicked, Shockingly Evil as the last performance of the round, I had to pinch myself. I could not believe it. I said, things like this just don't happen. And the fact that I was already talking about it and telling myself that if we got a chance to perform last, we could win. And the fact that the list came out and that's exactly what happened was outrageous. Even to this day, it's a very surreal moment. And I remember when we found out, we were just going crazy, whispering like little gossip girls in the back. She's like, oh my God, we got the list. Don't tell nobody. And I remember we were just so hyped and excited that we made it. And after we got off the bus coming from dinner, I ran up to every kid individually and said, hey, this is your chance. Like, don't take this for granted and don't take this lightly. This is an opportunity to win this nationals. And I think we have it.
Yeah. And then you guys perform third rounds, going last. Everybody was there. The room was so packed, not just from people from our church, Faith Assembly, Mainstream Orlando, but churches all over the country were there. And it was electric. In fact, that the video, a couple people got it, you got it. But one of the videos is on this channel. So if you want to take a look at what that experience was like and be there, you can. Just check out that video. So you guys perform on Friday, later Friday. You guys are in the celebration service. And just randomly, it's not at the end like it usually is. Randomly, they say, large human video.
The most unexpected time of any. I've been to Fine Arts almost 10 years in a row. The most expected announcements of all time was the year we won. I mean, that thing came out of nowhere. It came out of nowhere. So when she said this is large human video, the world, my world as I know it got dead quiet. My world went on mute, and I couldn't hear a sound around me. And I remember staring at the screen and seeing my name up there. And it's funny because our name was only up there for like less than 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Like the names up there were like up there for like 8 seconds straight.
Yeah.
And it was in those 8 seconds, the longest 8 seconds of my life. And it was quiet. And then the moment they said Extremely Wicked, like,
because they showed 3.
Part of me was like,
they showed 3 and then it went to.
part of me was like, we deserved it. Like, yeah, we definitely had it this year. And then part of me was like, whoa, like, wow. And I know this sounds terrible, but I guess because we're on this podcast and I want to share it.
Yeah.
Just because I started late and had 3 months to do it and I didn't overthink it. I think it was the most relaxing year of all my years of leading. It was the most relaxing year ever. It almost felt like it was too easy. When I won, it kind of felt like, oh, that's it. Yeah. So sometimes rewards don't really satisfy you at all.
I mean, not
because even after I won, some people disagreed and you still let it get to you, and you forget that it's not about the reward, it's about the impact.
Yeah. And that's so true, man. So for me, it's not a large human video, but I've had the opportunity to have a couple of victories in fine arts. 2 years I had the chance to do a t-shirt design, and I got 2 merits for t-shirt design. One of those shirts you happen to be wearing right now, which is pretty cool. So what's amazing though is the best victory of that night was your human video winning. Once you guys won, I didn't care about the t-shirt. It didn't matter. That's all that mattered was winning large human video, because it's crazy. The year that I started fine arts, we had one large human video, and it wasn't until the year that I stopped, after doing 4 years of high school fine arts and then 6 years of Capital, finally the large human video wins again, and it's yours.
Pretty crazy.
You know, we would have been happy
last time
anybody
won my leader.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry, say that again.
So I said we would have been happy if anybody won. Like if, Quan has always led great human videos, got second place the year before. If his would have won, we would have been stoked. If one of Manny's would have won, we would have been so overjoyed. In fact, I believe he had 2 in the top 10. And his and Quan's small ended up winning first place in small human video. So if any of those would have won, we would have been so happy. But yours won, and that made it super special, super rewarding. Wow. But here's the thing: those trophies, they just sit, they collect dust.
Yep.
You know, I got 2. They're both still in their boxes. They don't really mean anything. Really doesn't. You didn't get a check in the mail. You didn't get.
I didn't get promoted. Nope.
You know, you're not now the creative director for some crazy youth group. You know, even this year we're not even doing fine arts districts for groups because of this virus that's sweeping across the nation and the world. So things are really different. Tell me about how things are different for you. I know that we weren't really planning on talking about a lot of these things we just spoke about, but if you could kind of sum up how things are different for you in this season. So you've led human video, you're creative, you've done videos, you do hip hop, you are you cut hair, you're a businessman, you network. You're a social networking aficionado. There's so many things that you do. The question is not what do you do. The question is what you don't do. Now you don't have to answer that right now. But tell me about how this season has been different for you with what the world is going through right now.
I mean, yeah, man, like just being home all the time. And I mean, there's really no excuse to go out except grocery shop. There's really no other reason to leave unless I go to the studio. But being home has been amazing. It's been amazing because I've been writing a lot more music. And honestly, wake up some days and there's really nothing on the schedule. And it's kind of weird. And like maybe I could read my book. Maybe I could go work out. But if I don't do those other things, I don't really know what's next. So I told myself, well, let me just start writing. And I've been going to my best friend's studio, and just going over there for hours and just listening to old beats that we used to listen to when we were kids and just write and not overthink my creativity and not overanalyze my creativity and don't be a perfectionist about my creativity. Just enjoy what I do and have fun. And I've noticed that with human video that the year I won, I had more fun doing human video than I've ever had. And now when I write music, I'm having more fun than I've ever had. It takes 2 years to write 10 songs, write an album. And well, it does for me. And that's not everyone's, way of method of writing, but unfortunately it has been for me. But now I've written over 10 songs in just 2 weeks. And, they might not be as sharp and thought out as well as my album is that I do have that I'm working on as well. But separate from that, I have other songs where I'm just having more fun, and I've wrote more than I've ever had. And it's been amazing because I'm sharpening my creativity. I'm like sparring in the gym. I'm at the batting cages. I'm on the field. I'm running, I'm sprinting, I'm in the gym. And that's what it is when I'm writing. I'm just working on my craft, and I've gotten so much better, and I became such a better writer through it.
Yeah.
And so for those that are listening, I did drop a challenge, a cold summer challenge on my Instagram, Richie Ray _. But yeah, and I almost had a little mental, like emotional breakdown, like a good one the other day, because I was just so excited and happy of how I felt like a little kid again doing what I love to do. Right. Sometimes when you're making music, it's a competition, and you got to be the best, or you got to chase a dream, or you have to satisfy people, and you don't really act yourself, so you act another way to get people to like you, and you can get caught up in that road. Right. And finally, I'm realizing like, wow, when you're having fun doing art, your art will come out the best, and that's a testimony, and no one can tell me different.
Absolutely. And you do a really good job. You have a really fresh sound. I want to encourage everybody that's listening to this, if you haven't already done so, find Richie Ray's music, listen to it, go to that Instagram post, Richie Ray _. Find what he's creating, what he's created.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, Richie spelled RICHIE.
Absolutely. Get on that. I'll go ahead and throw down some links in the description of this video. Yeah. So go ahead and do that. Listen to it. What was your most recent EP or album that you put out?
It's No Good Thing. It came out September of 2018. Yeah, right. It's a 5-track EP. Basically my testimony and stuff like that. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, that was so good. So go ahead and get on that. Listen to it. So you not only do you we were talking about it a few minutes ago, but not only do you make not only do you do creative stuff with ministry, human video, you pastor. You're not at this very moment. You're not officially a pastor, but you still pastor. You're still a minister of the gospel. You are communicating Christ in everything you do. You also cut hair.
Right.
So, and I also mentioned that you're a businessman. You're a social networking aficionado.
Sure.
Tell me about how that's going right now. I know that you mentioned that you can't cut hair anymore because of this virus. In fact, my last haircut was with you. It's probably about 3.5 weeks ago, and my hair is already getting busted. It's getting busted when the nice fade on the side, you just can't really see it anymore. Got
of course.
Spotches of thicker hair and thinner hair. I'm like, man, I need me some Richie razor cuts right now. Yeah. I'm just thinking, man, I'm gonna grow. I'm just sold out, man. I'm gonna grow me a man bun, and I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna just grow it all out. I'm gonna pin it up. I'm gonna do it. I'm telling you, man, that's gonna be even if it's gone slightly out of style, I think it's gonna be coming back. The man bun, every guy's gonna have it. It's gonna be amazing. Tell me about how that's going for you.
I'm sorry, just more like, how do I cope through this time?
Exactly.
Knowing that
right.
I would say that is the harder part about this situation. And again, I think because I'm writing so much music, I feel like I have so much purpose. So I don't really look at it, but I'm not getting any income. And so if I want to go buy me I don't know, a soda or a Frappuccino, or, go to the store, buy something for the house, I have to be careful that I'm not spending it on things that I don't need because I have no money coming in. But, I think it's just a good time of self-reflection and right. looking at my life and saying, okay, well, if things do get normal, Richie, what do you need to change up and how can you be more effective? And I think as a business, as a businessman or entrepreneur, whatever your hustle is, I'm really starting to believe that I do have to think bigger than my barbershop. I have to think a little bit smarter and strategic, because if stuff like this happens again, then, my barbershop is going to be out of business like it is right now. Maybe if it's a recession or depression, maybe it'll be different because people aren't sick. So they could technically still come and get a haircut, even if that would mean that I have to lower the price. But right now, no one can. And so when you look at businesses like Walmart and Target, and you look at fast food restaurants and industries, you start to realize that the one industry and the one business that will never go out of business is the food industry and the human resources industry. And so, as this time is going by, I am starting my second business, and I'm able to sell products online, whether that be vitamins, whether it be certain diet drinks, proteins and bars and soaps and different stuff like that people do need. And so I need to invest myself into that business more. That way, when if this pandemic ever happens again, I won't need to rely on my barbershop. I can have a steady income through that business. So it's definitely a time to look at your life and be like, hey, if this happens again, will you be okay? And if not, what can you do now to self-reflect and make that happen when things get better?
Yeah, man, you got to be creative. And, I totally empathize with you. For me, I got my degree in aerospace engineering at the University of Florida, and I got a really good job coming out of college. But I was out of my field. I was working for the local power company in Orlando, Florida, and I worked for them for 2 years on a contract, and that was really great. But this past October, my contract ended, and because of a change in leadership at the upper level, that contract was phased out. And so I stopped working, and since then I had to be really creative. And that's where I really started to pick up my game in graphic design and media. But it's been really hard. Making money's been difficult. But even in this season, God provided an opportunity for me to serve a church and do media for them and help them with getting live streams set up. And we're going to do a website for them and do a new logo, get everything good from a graphical standpoint from them. Because a lot of churches, they haven't had the opportunity to do that because they've just been, having their building and bringing people in and then, doing what churches normally do. But now that everything is online, in order to have an online presence, you need a platform for that. And so there's become a need for developing that platform, and it's been a blessing for me to kind of get into that sphere and work on that and do that. So yeah, you're right. It is so important to be creative in this time. It's so important to actually do something. It's really easy, and this is what I wanted to talk to you about, kind of closing things out. Apathy is so easy to come to in this season. It's so easy to get to a place where you're like, man, I lost my job. I lost my way of income. I can't hang out with people. So there's not a motivation for me to look good or have nice clothes anymore, all that stuff. Like there's apathy. It's so easy for apathy to come in. You're like, man, why does it even matter? I'm just going to get sick anyway. I'm probably going to get the virus. Apathy is something that is so easy to get into, but we cannot let that happen.
Right.
People like you, people like me, people like those of you that are listening to this, we're better than that. We're stronger than that. God has called us to live our best life. And our best life is not hinging on the circumstances that surround us, but our best life is hinging on the God that will meet every need.
That's good.
But God cannot meet needs when we do nothing. It is a two-way street.
Right.
Go into the Bible. Think about the rich ruler that went on a long journey, and when he left, he gave talents, which was a type of currency. It's funny how we can reference that to being like, oh, I have talents, I could do this and that, but for them it was actually a type of currency. And he gave talents. Yep. He gave 5 talents to one person, so that'd be like $500. So he gave $500 to one servant, and he gave $200 to another servant, and then gave $100 to another servant. 5 talents, 2 talents, 1 talent. So the guy that got 5 talents, he invested it, he did something, and he made it 10 talents. Or $500 to $1,000 if you want to bring that to relevancy, right? The guy with 2 talents, he duplicated that. He invested it, he did something with it, and he made it 200 to 400 or 2 to 4. The guy with 1 talent, what he did is he took his talent, he buried it in the ground. He did nothing with it and let it sit there. Did nothing with it, didn't invest it, he just sat on it. So the ruler comes back to the guy that had the 5 talents, he blessed him. The guy that multiplied it from 5 to 10, he blessed him. The guy that went from 2 to 4, he blessed him. The guy with 1 talent that just buried it in the dirt, did nothing with it. He literally condemned him to hell. Like, he didn't say, "Oh, you're fired." No, he literally said, like, "You're condemned to hell." Like, if you read it, it's like you're gonna go where there's weeping and gnashing of teeth. And correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't have the verse in front of me. I'm just going from memory. But man, like, just think about that. Think about being a person and you're given something and you don't do anything with it. You don't invest it. You don't, if you're going to church, you don't tithe. You're not doing anything with your resource. Yes, you only have 1. You might not have 2. You might not have 5. You have 1, but you're not investing. You're doing nothing with it. I promise you, if that guy would have taken that 1 talent and he would have invested it and made it 2, he would have been blessed. He would have been blessed.
That's really good stuff, man. That's amazing. That's amazing scripture right there.
Absolutely. So as we close, man, I want you to talk about kind of your vision for the next year. What is your vision for 2020? You can kind of speak to your vision before this is all said and done and we're kind of stuck in quarantine, and then once quarantine is done and we could just go and kind of go back to normal, hopefully. What is your vision for this?
Yeah, I mean, speaking on that scripture, that's a very convicting scripture because I feel like for him to say that you're going to go to hell is really serious. Like, that's very obvious, very serious, but over a lack of investment, and that can go physical, spiritual. That can go either way. It could be, are you physically investing in your money right now that God has given you?
Yeah.
Or are you spiritually investing the spiritual gifts that God's had? And are you giving it back to the kingdom of God? And are you sharpening it? And are you making disciples and duplicating the numbers in the church by making, more people sharpened? And
right.
So it could go both ways. But I will say, as someone that's turning 27, in May, you start to look at your life and say, okay, money's a necessity. And of course, the money was a necessity when I was born and when I was in high school and a little bit after high school. But as you get older, you want to get married, you want to have your own place, you want to have a better car, you want to travel, or whatever it is that you have in your heart. You want to make more music. I want to go have more studio time or buy my own studio. You start to think the weight of money. And someone just, asked me the other day, what is something that you didn't take seriously before that you take seriously now, or that you didn't believe in and that you believe in now? And I said, the fact that God can use my finances to bless his kingdom. And I've always been that guy to say, I'm going to be broke for Jesus, or it doesn't matter about my income, or it doesn't matter about, my career, or, I'm working this part-time job so I can do full-time ministry, even though my full-time ministry doesn't pay me. And then you're manipulating the fact of what ministry really is, because what you're doing is you're sacrificing money to do full-time ministry only to come home to not have no worldly resources for God's heavenly goods. And so then it's like, okay, so you're playing this double game where you're investing a lot of time into your ministry, but then you have no actual investments if the ministry were to burn down and something bad would happen, like a virus. Like, what are you going to do now that you have the virus here? You were investing so much into a place and a leadership and achievement and reward that you forgot to invest into your finances. Yeah. And I think that's a lot of us. And there's nothing wrong with going to church and ministering at church. Nothing wrong with that. But I think we put a microscope on a label, and we put a microscope on a title of what it means to be a minister. And I think some of us run towards pastoring and being in a building and having a congregation, or evangelizing and wanting to evangelize through traveling, which is great. Both of those occupations are amazing, and I want to do both of those as the time comes on. Or maybe you want to be a missionary and you want to travel across the world, and so you have this microscopic view on it, and you need to take it away and look at the bigger picture and realizing that pastoring can be at your workplace.
Right.
Pastoring can be done at home. Evangelism didn't need to be just me preaching at churches, even though I am going to do that. To not put myself in a box, my evangelism is through actual relationships in my life with my friends, and when I rap music, when I go and do performances, I'm an evangelist. A missionary you could be a missionary in the States if you don't have money and finances to go out of the United States. You can do things in state and your community and missionary that way. And I'm not saying, I know people have the bigger picture and a bigger goal, but I think sometimes we're not mature enough and ready to see to do those other things. And I think we're in a place where people like my age need to focus on our finances. And we need to realize that we can be evangelists, pastors, and missionaries, but still realize that we can work hard and build finances, because, Luke 16 does say that God tells us to use earthly resources to make friends, because one day all our resources will be gone, but we'll be rewarded in the kingdom of heaven.
Right.
And that's very simple. It means that, God can use earthly resources, which that scripture is mainly talking about money, to make friends. Because if you have money, maybe you can go out more. If you have money, maybe you can travel more. If you have money, maybe you can give more. And sometimes that traveling, that spending time, that giving is going to have to do with friends at work that don't know Jesus, or friends in school, or family at home. And so you create opportunity with money that allows you to gain friends. And then the point of gaining those friends is to love them as best as you can and tell them about Jesus Christ. And the Bible clearly says, when it is gone, you will be rewarded in the kingdom of heaven. Because though the earthly resources created relationships with friends, at the end of the day, those resources will be gone one day, and it'll be you before God. But at least when you're ready to go to heaven, you'll be hugging and handshaking and kissing and jumping all over those people and those friends that you were able to help Jesus with. And I say that all to say practically that sometimes we can be so broke and so bad at budgeting and so oppressed and in a dark hole that a lot of us don't know when was the last time we used our money to create an opportunity to reach Jesus. Whether that be buying someone Chick-fil-A, whether that be paying someone's phone bill because they lost their job, whether that be someone having a car breakdown and you just wanted to be a super Christian and save the day and just give them $50 or $100. But I don't know when was the last time that was able to happen for me. And so when God willing, when this quarantine is over, God willing, I'm going to focus on my finances a lot more, because I want to pastor and evangelize through my money. And
man, that's so good. Richie, thank you so much for being a part of this. Man, you are always welcome on Blue Fire Talks.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Definitely want to bring you back. So we'll talk about that, discuss that. Again, to those of you that have made it this far, almost 50 minutes into the episode, man, thank you. Thank you so much. Please share this. If you haven't already done so, subscribe. We really want to get this thing to 500 subscribers. That's the mission. I want to have 500 by the end of April. Right now, upon recording, we're probably like 50. So that's a very bold and audacious goal, but I want to get there. I really want to spread the word. I really want people to experience and be a part of these conversations, especially in this time of quarantine. And we'll keep doing weekly episodes. God willing, we'll keep working to make them better quality. Please like this, subscribe it, share it, do what you can. If there's anything that we can do to make it better, to make these serve you, if there's any topics you want us to discuss that you believe would be relevant, drop it in the comment section. We love your feedback. If you want to talk to me directly, throw it in the comments, and I'll make a way to communicate with you. This is not a one-way conversation. This is two ways. So again, Richie, thank you so much. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, man.
You are a man of God. You love Jesus. You have just such an anointing on your life.
Appreciate you, bro. Thank you. And same for you, man.
Absolutely.
This is amazing what you're doing. And this is phenomenal, having your setup and being a voice in this generation. And a lot of people during the quarantine aren't really being creative. And you are, man. And I appreciate you've had Chris Dean on here. You have Jonathan Reyes. You have a great circle of friends. You make good relationships. And, bro, look at you now, bro, using God's resources to reach his people. So
absolutely.
Good
Thanks,
job, man.
Thank you.
Proud of you.
Be safe. Love you, bro.
All right. Love you, man.
See you around.